Hey guys, so I'm back with another .NET MAUI video, and this video is going to be the second part for our full stack food delivery app. So we'll start from we have stopped uh, in our last video. So till now we have simply created app and we have added this header view with these icons, search box and these category boxes. Now next thing, uh, if you could remember, next part was uh, reorder from favorites. So the favorite restaurants we have ordered from in the past. So for now, we will skip this part. We will add it when we will implement the order and all those. So we're going to skip this for now, and we are going to continue with this one, the explore offers and deals, this part. So this part is basically going to show the offers currently running in our app, and it is going to be a carousel view. Okay, so first thing, we will change this font, this default font. So let's grab some font, maybe Google fonts. What is this? Fonts. And I like Poppins font. So our app, this actually supports TTF. So we'll grab TTF fonts and the regular one, the regular 400. Let's add this. For now, let's add this only, or maybe bold one also. Semi bold 700. These two. Okay, so we need to download these. Download all. Let me grab these. Extract all. Extract. Poppins 1. So we have these fonts. Poppins. Okay. So it, oh, download all means it downloaded all. Okay, that's fine also. So if we'll check, we want the regular 400 and bold 700. We need these two TTF ones. So regular, regular, and then bold. We need these two. So we'll copy these. We'll move to our project and let me increase the font size, and then we'll paste these into our fonts folder. Poppins bold and Poppins regular. So first thing, we need to use these fonts. So in Maui program.cs file we can use these. We can add our fonts here. So we will simply use font.add font, then the font name. For example, we have this Poppins regular .tdf, and this part, the second one, this is an alias to this font. So what we are going to use in our XAML files basically. So we can name it whatever we want. For now, let's call it Poppins. and now we can use this using this pop-in. So how we can use this? We'll simply go to uh, main page, and we have this running burgers. We had this name, right? So this was collection one. So we can add font family here with that name. That's it. So you see, if we uh, remove this for now, we have burgers, and if we remove these properties, then it changes, right? You can see this. I've added this and it changed. Again, it changed, right? So this way we can use this, and we are going to use this font throughout our application. So what we can do, we can override the default classes, right? So it comes with this style.xaml file. So what we can try, we can go to MAUI program, we can search for Open Sans regular. So we will simply replace this Open Sans regular with our Poppins regular form. So maybe call it Poppins regular, and let's search all instances of this, find all, and we have in MAUI program and resources style.xaml. So we can come here and we can simply replace all these inside this file with Poppins regular 10 occurrences. So it is actually, this font is going to be applied on almost all the controls, borders, label, and all others. Save it, and same thing for this semi bold. Let's search for this one, find all, and it is not in use. Okay, fine. So we can simply remove this now. Let's add it, add the bold one also, bold. Okay, so we are good now. So let's run it, rerun it again. So it's here. So we got it. Okay, next thing, let's move to the offers section. So in this offer section, first we'll have one heading kind of thing, then we will have this offer section. Okay, so for this offers, first we'll need to generate model. So let's head to our models, and we need to stop it. Let's stop it, go to models, add new class, and let's call it offers offer. Public class offer, and in this we are going to have one ID, name, name, then maybe description, and before description let's add image URL of this offer. Then next thing, this offer will have some code or coupon code, you could say. This is basically coupon code. Then after that, what value? So we will have an enum here, public enum, and offer type. It can have two values, either the offer is for flat or percentage. So we will have this offer type and offer type. Then offer value, we are going to have it in decimal. Offered value, let's call it offered value. So it will basically uh, the offer will be a combination of these two. So offer type, if type is flat, then let's say if the value is, so let's assume the value is, let's say 20. So how it is going to work, if the type is flat, so it will indicate it's flat. So I'm from India, for me currency is INR, so for me it will be 20 rupees off. And if if the type is percentage, that would indicate it the offered value. So basically we are offering 20%. So that is how I have envisioned it. So it could be some percentage value, decimal value as well. That's why I'm taking it as decimal. And after this we can have maybe there is a constraint of minimum amount. So this offer can be applied only if the user, the customer has added items worth certain amount in the cart. So it's, we could say min value or min amount, and it will have, let's say, nullable. So if it's null, if null, that means no minimum amount is required. No minimum amount is required. Then we will have one let's say time till when this offer is valid. So we could have short period of time, one offer for short period of time. So it is nullable. So if null, that means no validity, or we could say lifetime validity. So it will always be available. So there is no uh, date validation, right? There is no date restriction, day restriction for this. Then we will have, let's say, boolean if this offer is active or not. So that all we are going to have for offers. Let's clean this out here. So for offer we have this. Okay, and I have downloaded a couple of images for offers. So these are these images, 50% off, half price, hot offer, special offer, and all these. So let me copy these files for now, and I'm going to paste these inside this resources images folder, and later we are going to grab these from the API. So let me copy these to, and before that let me rename these. So Maui does not allow hyphens, and all these images have hyphens in their name, right? Yep. So let me remove those. hyphens. So 50%, 50% off. Let me rename these offline. So I have renamed all these. Now let's copy all these two images. And for our convenience, let's add a constructor method. Cool. We got this complete thing, and for now let's use is active true always. And let's add a default constructor as well. So this constructor I have created this for my convenience only. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to fill some sample data to this. That's why I created this one. So let's create one static method here. Enumerable offer, or let's say load dummy offers. Offer, and now yeah, dummy offer, and let's return a list from here, list of this offer. New. And now we'll add offers here, right? So first is id, so let's have id1, name is, let's do the same thing, whatever offers we have, let's try to get those only. Offers, the first is 50%, so let's call it 50% off. Then image name is 50 underscore percent dot png. Third is description, so let's go 50% off on all food items. And then offer type, so as the name suggests, this is a percentage offer, so let's use percentage. And offer, no, before this we have this code, right? So we can define any code, maybe uh, let's use of 50, something like this. Then offer type, and after offer type we have offered values, so in this we are going to use 50, right? So this percent, so this becomes 50%. And minimum amount, let's say for this there is no minimum amount valid till, and so for this let's say date time dot now dot add days 7, so it is valid for next 7 days only, and we are good. So let me add other offers also. So I'm going to add other offers offline, and I'll get back to you. So I have added a couple of offers. Yeah, now we are going to use these offers. So first thing, let's create view model. We already must be having view model, right? View model, main view model, yeah. Okay, so load category I was having here, so let's cut this method from offer to here only, make it private. load dummy offers, fine. So again we'll have one more observable property for offers. Let's call these offers, and Maui community toolkit must have generated this offers property for us. So load dummy offers, and we have these offers now. Yes. So now we can use these offers in our main page. So this is our main page, right? Okay. So context, binding context, we already set it to the same main view model, and we already have our models, view models namespaces in place. So this collection view, after this collection view, okay, so first thing, let me run this app again so we can see the changes we are making here directly. There is some error expected. This thing, fine, save, yeah. And now what happened? Space, class, everything's fine. What is this one? Oh, so detective file name must be lowercase underscore 50%. That means we must be having some image name with incorrect, no, 50 underscore percent, right? 50 underscore percent or JPEG. Okay, right. Hmm. What is file names must be lowercase? Oh, this one. Or is it complaining about this number? One more, file names must be lowercase, start and end with the letter character, and contain only alphanumeric characters or underscore. 50 underscore percent. Okay, it is not allowing these things, so let's switch it. Oh, it will not allow this also, right? Because it said file name must be lowercase, start and end with the letter. So percentage 50, 50p, and copy this file 50%. And then there was one more, right? Up to 25%, sale 40. No. Okay, let's save and run. It should work this time. It's here. So first thing we need that heading. So label text, and let's use explore offers and deals. Okay, and it does not allow ampersand. Unexpected. Expected the following token. Okay, AMP. Okay, then font attributes bold and size large. Let's see how it is looking right now. Explore offers and deals, fine. And let's give a lighter color. So text color, let's see how it's gray. No, dark gray. Do we have dark gray color? Yes. No change. 555. 7. Let's take 6. Explore offers and deals, and we need. Okay, we will wrap this label and uh, uh, this section, this carousel view inside a container. Okay, so let's take a maybe vertical stack layout only. First item this, then second item this. Cut vertical stack layout. First item is this, and we can have padding 10 and spacing between items. Let's take 10 again. Okay, this is fine. Now the next thing we need that carousel view. So carousel view, it is the inside of this carousel view is the similar as we have for collection view. So we have this item template, data template, item source, all of these things. So first thing, item source, and we are going to get it from bindings and offers. Okay, then we will use carousel view dot item template. It will be a data template. Now we are going to design our carousel view items one by one. So for this data template, the data type is going to be models offer. Okay, now for now in offer, what all we have: id, name, image, description. So for now on this screen, let's use name and image first. Okay, name and image. So let's have one grid. Okay, and grid only, image, and the source for this image is going to be the binding of image, aspect fill, and height. Let's take 250 and width. So for these app designs, the images plays very crucial role. So the dimensions of the images, the color scheme, and the choice of images, basically it should be good, so it looks good in your app. Okay, so for now I'm just randomizing. I'm just taking something random. We will check how it looks. Item template, grid, then the second item we will take label for text binding, and it will be the title. What was the name of the first? Okay, then size, maybe 17, 16. Let's see for now how is it looking. Restart the app. It's here. We have 50% off, percent hot offer, up to 25% discount, half price, flat 100 rupees off today only. So the currency I'm using, it is rupees. The Indian currency, you can change it. Sale 40% off, and we can see it. We need to design it. So all my images, these are basically odd size. These are not uh, similar in size, so I don't know how this is going to look like, but let's try to design it. So for this label, we need it to, let's say, at the bottom. So vertical options and horizontal options center, and it is here. So on this grid, I'm going to have background color. Now let's see how it looks. Red. And for this one, this is a bit odd. Hot offer. Okay, how will it look if I set it to aspect fit? Hot offer 50%, 50%. Okay, aspect fit is better. So what I am thinking, maybe we can have one more uh, property to the offer, so we can kind of control this background color from there only, right? So for example, for this one, this red looks great. This one will also, we can say it is okay, but maybe for this, it is actually looking good on all the offers. Okay, let's see how will yellow look like. Yellow color, fine. Fine. Yeah, so maybe so one thing, it will, these are looking odd because we have not designed these images. I have downloaded these from the internet. So when there are any offers section in your app, maybe your designing team or the owner of the restaurant or the team of the restaurant, that team is going to design these with a kind of this, so that looks fine. So this background color and all this will be a part of image only, so it will look good, right? And still, if you want to get those, we can maybe modify these. We can have one more property on the let's say offer, and we can control it from there, right? So maybe we can try let's have one string property, and it will say bg color, and we can fill those bg colors from, let's add the last parameter. Yes, bg color. Okay, and this bg color, so we have filled values here. So we can have the default value as red. So we can pass any hex value or direct color value. So main view model, let's use for this one, let's use gray color. So this is okay. Which was the first element? The first was that 50% of this one. So for this one, red was looking great, right? So the default red, that is fine. Second one also red was good. This one we are going to use yellow. The third one, so for this one we will use yellow color. Fourth one, this one again red. So we can skip it, or we can explicitly add the red color. For this one, let's use yellow only. For this one again, let's use white. This one 30% off, 30%, this one. So white, or maybe let's use hex this time. 1 2 3 4 5 6, yeah. And in special offer, it was also looking good in red, so let's skip this one. Then this 40% off, this is kind of grayish color, right? So let's use gray for this one. 40% off this one. So let's use, or let's try it, no, gray. And then 50% off, again we have this 50% off, and let's use red this time. So the default is red, we can skip it. Okay, now we need to use this bg color here, so we can say binding, and then we can use bg color. Okay, let's rerun it because we made changes in view model. It's coming. What happened? Background color binding bg color. The name is right. bg color. The name is fine. Can't we assign like this? bg color. It should work, right? Background color. This is bindable property or no? This is not bindable. Background color. Background color property. This is bindable. So should I? Okay, let's add one more label here, and let's write it down here so we can check if it is actually working or not. Start. We got it. Red, gray, red, yellow, red. It should have worked. Create background color, finding from offer. This is beige color. Beige color. What happened? Let me try to rerun it. Was there any errors? No, there is no error. Do let me know in the comment if you know what is it. So for now I'm not going to spend much time on this, so maybe I'll try to fix it offline, and we can fix this in our next video, the next part. For now, let's come to use this, paste it here, comment this out, and for now let's use hard-coded red color. Name bg color, remove this bg color. Fine. So red, okay, fine. Okay, so for now this label, let's design this label. Okay, so let's add background color of maybe white. And the font size to 18 to 20. Do we have some light red color? What all variations of red we have? I'm not very good with remembering names. What if I have it black only? It is looking like a patch. Okay, before that, in this grid, let's add the padding of 10, and then let's have it What is the snow color? This one. Okay, maybe let's have this. And we will add padding to this, maybe 5. Mm-hmm. Or maybe we can expand its width, horizontal text alignment. How can we expand this to take the complete? Mm, no, I am using grid, right? Yes. So what we can try? Let's have two uh, rows. So row definitions. Star star. Star and auto. And the image, this is going to be the first row. So grade dot row 0. And this label, this is going to be the row number 1. And fine, we have this. Now how can we expand this? Yes. Mm, horizontal options, center. What do we try start and expand? No. Okay, I need to check. I'm kind of losing the dot and Maui things. It's been a long time I have used it. Okay, let's see. We'll try to figure this out as well. So for now, let's use center only. Center. Okay. So in carousel view, we need to have those indicators. So those indicators carousel view actually have one control which says what is the indicator view, and this indicator view, this is another view. Indicator view, this is another view. So let's create one view here. So we can create here only indicator view, and we need to use this indicator view as a property of this carousel view. So we need to give it a name, X name, and we can name it whatever we want. So for now, let's call it offer indicator view. Offers indicator view. Okay, and we have, I guess, shape, indicator shape, and it has two options, square and circle. Let's first use this one here. So interview, let's use it directly, and is it this method or X name, right? This is fine. Yeah, let's rerun it. It's here, it's coming, and we have these indicators here. So you see these bottom indicators, and let's say how circle looks good. Yeah, and we can arrange these, we can align these. So let's see what all properties we have on indicator view. So we have shape, position, so it's indicator color, selected indicator color. Indicator size. Okay, we have size also. Shape, size, position. Position is integer. Indicator color and selected color. Let's try these things. So we have indicator color. So I think it's okay to have gray, but for selected, we will use red. What we are using here, we can say it. Then we had size, right? So indicator size, and this was of type double. So let's say 10. Okay, fine. 15. Okay, 10 looks good. 10. Okay, fine. And horizontal options center. Ha, we are good now, right? Should I increase the size? 15. Can try. Well, let's take it 12 only. 12. So we are good with offers. Now, next thing, whenever we click on some offer, it should navigate to a detail page with complete details of this offer, that what is the description for this offer and how it is going to be applied, all those things, right? What is the code, coupon code for this offer, what is the validity of this offer. So basically all the properties we have in this offer class, we are going to display all these on that page. So in order to do that, first we need to add some gesture handler for this. So let's do this. We are again here, indicator view is fine. We have this grid. So on this grid, I am going to add a gesture recognizer, tap gesture recognizer, and for now we can have tapped only, but later we can have a command. So new event handler, fine, tap gesture recognizer. So let's rename it to have something like offer tab. Offer tabbed. Did it change here also? Yes, offer tab. Now the point is, how can we get the parameter? So for this we cannot get the parameter, that means we need to use command. Do Can we have tab parameters? Parameter, we can have, what is this navigation page property? Navigation page, this looks like namespace. Navigation page back button has navigation bar icon tilt. What is this? Okay, leave it. So we need to use command and command parameter. So command, in order to use command we need to add one command. Where is it? In our view model, main view model. Okay, so let's call private async task, and we will use offer selected offer selected, or select offer async. Select offer async, and we are going to have an id parameter here, or let's call it offer id. Okay. Can do we have some event on this carousel view? Some selected or something like that. Let's check what all events we have on carousel view. So we have position changed and current item changed, nothing else. Okay, we need to use that only. So let me pin these two. We're using these two. Select offer async. Now from this offer ID, we have offer ID. Then we can simply use await shell dot current dot display alert. So we will say the title is, let's say, offer clicked or offer tapped. Offer with ID selected. We will move to new page for offer details. Okay, and then comes the cancel button. So let's say okay, and we should be good. And in order to convert this into a command, we can use relay command. So community toolkit, this is going to generate as a command out of this offer, select offer. So we can say select offer command. You see this one, it has generated this command for us. This is the command, so we are going to use this. Why is it complaining? Adding method required restarting the application. Yes, we need to restart the application. Let me restart it. This error, no property bindable event for command mismatching. Okay, yeah. Now let's have this. We will fill values for this. Let's run it. So it's here, and let's remove this tabbed method and let's add command here. Command. So that command is in the this view model, the binding context for this one, right? But for this container, the view model, the binding context is this offer, this property, uh, one of these offers, right? So in order to catch, in order to use the command from view model, we need to add a binding source. So we will use binding source, binding, then the source for this one, it is going to be have one complex source, so we will use relative source relative to this one, and now it is going to navigate further the upward in the direction. So we are saying the ancestor type should be our view model, main view model. Let me hide this one. So view model, and from this view model, the thing we need to use the name of the method. That method name is select offer async, the command name basically. So that was select offer command, this one. So the path is going to be this. this is how we can connect uh, item template from collection or carousel view to the main view models command, right? Now after this we need to pass command parameter, so we need one command parameter for this. So binding, and we have that id, right? Yes, so it should work now. Oh, it worked without refreshing. Okay, no change. Okay, we did not make any change here. So 50% off. Okay, how can with id 1? With id 1 it is passing 1 always. With id 1, oh, because for offers I have used id 1 only, right? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 and 9. In order to apply this change, because this is a C# change, we need to restart the app. But before that I was thinking maybe we can, instead of this id, let's pass the complete offer object, right? So we can say offer complete offer object, and we can say offer, or maybe we can say offer is selector, right? So let's add one toString method here for our convenience. So let's override the toString, and we will say this offer id and its id and name is name. We have name right here. Okay, so toString we are going to use and maybe let's remove this offer. So id and name like this. So we will say offer is selected. We will move to a new page for offer details. Okay, and now from here, instead of passing this id, we need to pass the complete object. So dot means current binding context, and for this one the binding context is one of these offers. So let's rerun it. And it's here, it's coming. And we can scroll around, we can click on this offer tabbed. id 2 name hot offer is selected. Next one id 3 up to 25% off. id 4 name is half price. So we have these now, right? So it is working. Okay, so we achieved this explore offers and deals. And for this offers and deals, what I was thinking, because we are going to use this same heading multiple times, right, on this. So the next container of our app is this explore restaurants, right? So for this, and this reorder from your favorites. So for all these, maybe we can move this to a new control and we can use that control here, right? So let's do this. So let's create a new folder and call it controls. New folder, and because it's running I need to stop it. Controls, and let's, or maybe no, we can have a control if we want, but I have a better approach. What we can do, we can simply use the resource dictionary, and the thing which is going to change is the remaining same. This is the only text is going to be changed, right? So we can have all these styles inside one resource dictionary, one resource key. So content page dot resources, resource dictionary, and then we can say label, and we can use the key, and the key, let's uh, say it's heading. And now we will have some setters. Property setters. Property is font attributes, and the value will be bold. And let me copy it a couple of times. Text is set more than once. What do you mean text is set more than once? Oh, okay, hold on. Font size large. Font size is large. Text color is this one. Remove this, and we will have setter target name, target type, right? Am I missing something? Styles. Oh, style. No, style. Target type is label, and the key is heading. Then we have these setters. So now we can have a style, and we will get it from static resource heading. And we can copy this. Okay, for the next container for our uh, restaurants, explore restaurants heading, and for now let's have a label only, simple label. Label text restaurant listing will go here, something like this. Let's run it. And it is saying 666 value because we missed this hash. It's here. And we can see the same styles has been applied to the second, right? Explore offers and deals, explore restaurants, and this one. Fine. And we are clicking on this and we are getting these things ready. Okay. So next thing, before we move to this restaurant listing and clicking on this and opening that new page, what I am going to do, let's add a new project, that API project. So what we are going to do, we are going to fetch these offers from that API, fetch the categories from the API. So we are going to fetch everything from API. So to this solution I am adding, or maybe before this, let's commit these changes. So fonts, change font, and added static offers, cursor view, heading styles. Okay, so commit all. Next thing is I will add a new project for API. So new project, and let's use ASP.NET Core Web API. Next, and inside this only, let's call it food delivery.api. Food delivery.api. Fine. Next, we will use .NET 6 only. Configure for HTTPS, use controllers, enable open API support for documentation, and we are not going to use minimal API, so we are good with this approach. Create. We are going to use Entity Framework Core code first approach. So we are good here. We have this API with default things. Okay, so in this food delivery API, let's add a folders. Let's call it data, and in this folder let's add a new folder for our entities. Okay, so for now we have two entities which we had in here, category and offer, right? So let's copy these over. So public category, and in here let's create a new class, call it category, and let's paste the category, and we don't need these constructors here. The second one is offer, right? So offer, new class offer, and let's copy over this offer. For now let's copy both of us only offer. And we need this offer type, and it is kind of going to be used for both. So I'm going to create a new project for DTUs, for data transfer objects basically, so that we can reuse the models from API and from our mobile app layer. So a new project, and it is going to be a class library project, and let's call it food delivery.shared. You can name it whatever you want. Share .NET 6, and we are good. And in this, let's add a folder for, let's say, innovations. And in this, we are going to add that offer type right? Offer type, and let me copy the offer type from here. Now let's cut this offer type from here, and we will add it here. We don't need all these offer type. Fine, we have this offer type shared. Let's remove this class one, we don't need this one. Then we need to reference the shared project from both the projects. So from food delivery MAUI, it is going to complain us about this offer type. So let's add the project reference dependencies. Okay, fine. Add project reference, and we are referencing the shared project from here. Now we are going to have this offer type here, so we can have this add reference to food delivery to shared. I've already added, right? Dependencies. Add project reference, food delivery to shared. Okay, yeah, I have added that. What is that? Shared project reference. I don't know what is it. Oh, it is. I have never used this actually. Okay, so shared. I have added. It should have added. Okay, fine. it is somehow not picking up this changes, so we might need these couple of times. So let's add these in global usings, global using enumeration, and we have this enumeration now. It is still not picking up, and what happened? Okay, maybe it will pick after some time. Okay, same thing, we need to reference this shared project from this API project. Add project reference shared, we have already, can be dependencies, food delivery shared. Oh, food delivery MAUI dependencies. Okay, let's see if it got added to this one. Yes, it got added here, and same thing, it got added here also. Okay, fine, we have all these things in place now. So we have category, we have offer, and this is API. We need to reference this shared enumeration. So maybe let's create a global using for API also, or maybe let's copy this file and paste to API as well. Go to global usings and remove these things. Okay, so for these things category, let's add, I use data annotations most of the time, so it will be key and name, it is required. If we are not using nullable type, it is required, but I like explicit attributes. And let's use the max and min length for this. So the maximum length for name, the category name, let's take it 25, and minimum length, let's take it at least 3. And same thing for image, it is actually required. And the string length, well, let's use same for this also. Okay, and for this let's use table and name, let's use this only. And the schema, by default schema is DBO. We can set if we want to, we can skip if we want, so it's up to us. Let's go to offer, and in offer also this is the key. And for name, let's copy that also. For name, this is offer name, right? So maybe offer name can go long, right? So maybe let's take 50, minimum length 3, or maybe take 5 or 10 as per our requirements. For image, we can use this only. For description, so we can say this is not required, so we will remove required. String length, yes. Maximum length, we would restrict it to 250, and minimum length, we don't need it, so we can use max length attribute, and we will remove this. And for coupon code, so this is required. And string length, so maximum length, let's call it maybe 10, not more than 10, right? Maybe 5, yeah, 10 looks fine. Minimum length 3. Offer type is fine, offer value is fine. This is also required. Minimum amount, valid till is object, and this bg color. So let's take it also as null label. So we will say max length can be maybe 10 or 15, not more than 15. And we don't need this. In fact, we will need this for seeding data, right? Okay, so we don't need this. We need public constructor for sure. Okay, so we have generated our table name of we have generated our okay, picked it up from there. So we have generated our entities. Now next thing, let's add DB context. Let's add entity framework. So we'll use manage NuGet packages. Browse. We will use entity framework core, and we will use SQL Server. So SQL Server internally will install core and relational. So we are using .NET 6. So let's use the 6 one. 6.0. Let's install. Accept. And looks like it got installed. Right? Yeah. Okay, fine. And we need one more for our migrations. To run our migrations directly from package manager console, we need EF code tools, this package also. So let's add this one. Okay, accept, and we should be good now. Save, and we are fine. SQL Server and tools. Okay, we are good now. Next thing, let's add a context. So let's call it maybe data context only. You can name it whatever you want, and we will use it as a subclass of DB context from entity framework core, and it has two constructors. So one is default and one is DB context options. So we will use the same approach base, which is actually default, so we don't need this, but I use explicit. So we will use DB context options for data context options, and from here we will call this constructor. So we are good now. Now we need to add override, sorry, drop db set. Let's add our properties here. So we have two, right? One is category. So let's call this db set as categories, and the second one is offer, and let's use offers. Now next thing, we need to fill the values which we were using in our view model. We were using these values, right, to load these were static data. So now we are going to move this data to API, to database, right? So let's try to add that data of seeding. So we can use on model creating for this, and let's maybe create one static private method for seeding data. Or the approach could be, maybe we can use this partial class, and we can say we can create a new class here, data context dot seeding maybe. and this will be .cs, and this will be counterpart of that. So public partial class, and we will use the partial method approach. So we will have this partial void seed data method, and it will use model builder as a parameter, and we will call this seed data with this model builder from here, and we will define this method here. So public void, and what was the name? It's seed data. Seed data, and now we will fill the values. What happened? Seeding it up. This build action is none. It should be C# compile. No. EF core. Fine. What happened? Data container already defines. Okay. So seed data, we need to provide data to this both of these. So we can copy this data from our view model, right? Let's okay, copy this like this, and we will say model builder dot entity, and for category we will say dot has data, and we can have params of category, right? Yeah. So we will add all our categories here, and it is complaining about constructor. We don't have that constructor. Okay, so we'll copy this constructor from there only. We need both. So this constructor data context shading. So this constructor, this parameter constructor, this is only for our convenience, and this default constructor, EF core is going to use this constructor to generate the entities. So we are good now. Fine. For categories, we added this data, and same thing we will do for model builder dot entity dot offer. For offers also, we will seed the data dot has data, and let's copy it from main view model only, and these offers. Okay, and we should be good because I have not removed constructor of this offer, and we are good now. Okay, fine. So we are good with our DB context, our entities. Now we need to add the connection string. So what we can do, we can have a connection string in appsetting.development file. So let's add connection strings, and let's call it for delivery only. We can name it whatever we want. Now we need to have our connection string. So I'm using my local, so data source dot initial catalog. This is the database name, and I don't have this database, so let's call it food delivery only. And I'm using Windows authentication, so I will use integrated security true, and we are good with connection strings. So for production, you are going to have one more file here. You will name it as production, and you will not have it here. You will not add it to the gate, and you will simply have your production server connection string here. Production server connection string. This thing. Okay, so when we run it in local in debug mode, so it uses development mode, so we are going to use this development mode. So we have added the connection string, we have added context, we have added entities. Now it's time to add the db context with this SQL options. So let's create one more folder inside API, and let's call it extensions. Extensions, and let's add a file here for, let's we can say startup uh, db context extension. We can have separate classes, or we can have same class. We can add the code to the same this program.cs file, but I like it organized, so I'm going to have db context related things here only. So we will have a extension method, so public static, and we will use the same approach what Microsoft uses. So we will return iService collection only, and let's call it add data context like this. Okay, and as this is a extension method on iService collection, let's call it services, and we should be good now. Static and return services default. Now we will add our db context, so we can use services dot add db context. We can give type of our context, so this data context, this is our data context class, this type. Now if you can see, it takes an action with options and lifetime. So the default lifetime is scoped. We will stick to scoped only. If we want to change, we can change it. Okay, so for options, we will use these options, and here we will use options dot use SQL server, and SQL server needs SQL server options, and it has other overload methods. So the second one is string connection string, so we need connection string. So we have that connection string in our app settings.json, the production development file. So we need to get this from there. So in order to get this, we can get this from configuration object. So we have that configuration object inside this program.cs in this builder. So before build, we need to register our db context, so we can access that using configuration builder.configuration. So what we are going to do, we are going to have one more parameter here. We will call it configuration. So we can get our connection string here from the app settings. So we can get it using connection.get connection string, then name of the connection strings, right? So let's add maybe constant here, public const string, and let's say connection string name. So I avoid hard-coded strings wherever I can. So this connection string name, this should be the key of the connection string. For in our case, this is this food delivery. So let's use this food delivery, this connection string name from data context. So in our startup extensions, we are going to use a get connection string. We need to provide the name. So we have data context dot connection string name. So we will have the connection string object here, and use SQL Server. We can use this here. So because this is single line, we don't need to wrap it in this, and services.db context, and now we are good with data context. Now the development is almost done for API for these two entities. Now first thing, we need to send this data to database. So in order to do that, I'm using code first migration. So let's add migrations here. So we will use API project, and we added that entity framework code tools NuGet package. So that allows us to use this add migration, remove migration, update database command line tools inside this package manager console. So let's call it initial migration only, and this actually is going to build it, and it is going to generate migration files for us. It's building. Why is it taking time? Maybe because it is building for the first time, this API project. We haven't built this, right? Build in sense this compiling. We simply created this project and added so many things into this project, and it happened. Where's task manager? And build failed. And why build failed? Let's try building from here. The API project failed. And why is it failed? There is no, my bad. Okay, we missed this, right? We have added this extension here, and let's use this namespace in our API's global usings, right? So we're going to add other namespaces also. So let's use this like this only, and we need to use this method in program.cs, right? So we will use builder.services.add data context, and it requires this parameter. So we will pass it as builder.configuration, and let's try to build it. It should build successfully this time, and it is okay. Now let's open package manager console again, and let's try this. It's again taking time. Let me know in the comments how do you feel about this project, this course. So maybe again failed. What is the problem? Build failed. Build failed. Is it working from here? Is it trying to build the complete solution? Maybe let's set it to start a project first now, and then let me use this. So it will build this project only. Again build failed, and why can't I see any error inside this? Clean and build this building, the package manager for API. Am I missing something? Let's try to run it. The API project. I'm trying to run API project so that maybe we can get errors. It worked. Write out, execute, and we are getting data. What is the issue? Everything looks fine. Migration, initial migration, and we have added those Microsoft Interface Tools package also, and we have everything. 10%. Okay, let me maybe close this Visual Studio and open it again. We have opened it again. Let's try this time. API, API, okay. Add migration, initial migration. By the way, this name initial migration, it could be anything, whatever you want. It does not matter. This is the name of command, this add migration, so this is what matters. Build started. Okay, it worked this time. With some warnings, but that is fine. So it created these files. If you check, it created a folder migration and it added this snapshot and this initial migration file. So this name, so whatever name you will put in add migration, it will create this file for that. So if you will check it here, so it have created these two folders, up and down. Up is for applying the migration to the database, down is for removing that migration from the database. So if you'll check the up folder, it is actually creating table category with all these columns and all these whatever we have added, and same for offers. And then it is adding that seeding data, and then in down it will simply drop these tables because it is opposite of this, right? So one thing what we need, we don't want this migration to out. So all the data, all these migrations, entities, DB context, all of these, we need all of these inside this data folder. So let's delete this folder, this migration folder. We can generate it again, and we will generate it again. Or maybe let's see what is the no store type is specified for the decimal property min amount of entity type of this will cause value to silently truncate if they do not fit in the default precision. Okay, precision and scale, we can use this hash conversion if we need, if we want. So it is always a good idea to use this hash conversions. I can show you how we can do this if you want, but for now it is, we can skip this, but let me show you how we can do this. So for example, for this where is it? For this decimal values, all these decimal values, we need to set the scale and precision. So how we can set those? We will go to data context, we will go to this on model creating method, and before the seed data, we can say model builder dot entity offer, then we will say property o goes to o dot, what was that, amount, o dot offered value, right? So this offered value property we will use has conversion, and then we can have not has conversion, we have has precision also, right? It has precision, int precision and scale, right? So you can add these here as per your requirements, but for me I'm not using these for now. Right, so let's add the migrations again, but this time we need this inside this data folder. So we can add a flag, oh, the output flag. So we need output inside this data folder. So let's do this. And we missed this, so it added these two files directly inside data, but we need a separate migration folder under this data. So let's do it again, but this time data, then migration. So add migration, initial migration, output the migrations inside data, then migration folder. Okay, enter, and this time it is going to add this inside this migration, and we can check it here. So we have this data. Now in order to send this data to database, we can use update database command. It is also coming from EF core tools, and it said build failed. Why it said this? Because migration, because of this folder name. So migration, it is not able to figure out that this migration should come from EF core migration. So let's rename this migration folder to migrations, remove it and regenerate it, migrations, and we should be good now. Migrations, fine. Now let's move these changes to database. You can add this flag so it will show the commands here. Whatever command it is running, it will show us inside this thing only. So you see it is actually creating those, it is inserting the values and all these things. So now if we check in our database, we will have all these values. Okay, so for now we have these values, and we can simply check these values directly. Let's create one new controller quickly here. So let's have it API controller, add, and let's name it, for example, let's name it categories controller. Categories controller, we'll have one constructor, will inject the data context here, data context. Okay, and we will use this, and let's add one action method here, public async task I action result, and maybe get categories. We can name it whatever we want, this name does not matter. And from here we can directly remove we can directly send our data, the list of categories, for instance. So we can say our data context, or maybe let's rename it to context. Context dot categories dot to list async. And because we are not tracking the changes To make this more performant, we can use as no tracking, tool list async. We will simply return this data from this API. Okay, so this is going to be a get, HTTP get with the default path, that is API slash controller. Controller is categories. So API slash categories, we will have these categories from here. Okay, so we have injected this and this will be injected from this. So we have added this add db context. That is how it is going to work. So let's run it and let's try to navigate to this. We'll open a browser window for now. It opened this browser window and we have these API categories. Try it out, execute, and boom, we have these categories now, right? ID1, name, burgers, image, this, and all the data. We have this, right? So first thing, let's copy this URL. Okay. Copy that URL. First thing, let's try to clean up. So we don't need this weather forecast controller. Let's remove it. Not it removed. Yeah. Let's remove this weather forecast controller. We don't need this, and we don't need this model as well. And okay, fine. For categories, everything looks fine. Next thing is we need to connect this API from our this from our project, from our .NET MAUI project, right? So in order to do that, we will use same dependency injection for this also. So first thing, let's set up the HTTP client. Okay, so in order to set up HTTP client, we can simply say builder dot add HTTP client, and it will come from here, builder dot services dot as HTTP client, right? Services dot add HTTP client. Why am I not getting this HTTP client? See dot as HTTP client. HTTP client. We should get this HTTP client. Okay. So check. Why are we not getting this? That is local. No, we don't need local. Okay, let's check in this from where this comes. Builder.services.add HTTP client. We are getting this. In which namespace? It is Microsoft extensions dependency injection. Do we need to add this? Add and you got packages. I'm trying to add this to this one, Microsoft extensions dependency injection, this, and we are on version 6, so let's use 6.0.1 and added it. Start. Delivery Microsoft extension. Okay, it got installed. Okay, builder.services.add HTTP client. Do we have it now? It happened. Builder.services.add HTTP client. Why can't we get this now? Using Microsoft dot extensions dot dependency injection dot extensions again. Add HTTP client. It comes from Microsoft Extensions Dependency Injection namespace. What is that showing? We have added it. Microsoft Extension Dependency Injection file. MAUI program. Extension dependency injection. I have explicitly added this. Still I cannot get this. Okay. Need to. Looks like it is working. Builder.services.add HTTP client to extension. Is it not available for MAUI? It should be. Let's check. Use HTTP client factory and .NET MAUI. Create client and .NET MAUI app. It is from this HTTP client factory services dot HTTP client HTTP client factory. All the sample sources are relies on the Microsoft Extensions HTTP NuGet package. Is this required Microsoft Extension HTTP? No, let's check. Microsoft Extensions HTTP, right? So Microsoft Extensions HTTP, and we'll add version 6, install. It got installed. What? Let's check extension HTTP. Now let's check if we can use it. Yes, so it comes from Microsoft extension. Let me add a comment here. So in that case, we don't need that first package, right? This dependent injection. So use this from package this. Okay, so we need HTTP client factory. We could have used directly injecting the HTTP client or creating object, but Microsoft recommends to use this HTTP client factory. So we'll use that. So in order to do this, first thing, we will use name, and this name we can, for now, let's add a constant here. So maybe public class, not class, public constant string, or maybe let's add a new folder for constants, and we will have our constants here, app constants. Let's make it static. Let's use public const string, and we will use our API HTTP client name, and we can name it whatever we want. So let's say food delivery API. Okay, and this also, let's add it to global usings. global using, and we will use this to register our, oh my bad, I have added this in API, right? So I need to move it to this, and it should not have this, it should have this namespace. Put delivery on this one, and it's global usings, it should have those global using this. Fine. So here we will use that from here. So we will use app constants dot HTTP client name. Then we can use the default configuration that applies to all the HTTP clients we are going to use from this HTTP client factory. So one thing, so we have this, then the common thing that is going to be the API URL in this case. So we can have second parameter is the factory, right? String name and action, configure client, HTTP client. So it gets this HTTP client, and we can at least configure HTTP client base address for now. So let me add body for this for now, and so base address, it is going to be new URI and then HTTPS of our API URL. HTTPS localhost colon, and our API URL is this one, right? This one. You can add other common configuration here if you want. So we are good. Now we can use this HTTP client inside our main view model, right? Because there we are getting our category in our first print, right? So for main view model, let's inject HTTP client factory. So let's call it HTTP client factory only, and we need HTTP client, so maybe just we can use HTTP client and HTTP client and HTTP client, and we can get HTTP client from this HTTP client factory. So it gives us this static this method create client, and in this create client we can give a name. So this name is the same name which we have configured. So it can, if we give the name, it will simply get the client and it will apply these configurations to that client. So HTTP client, and the name was app constants dot API client name. So this is what we need. Now this HTTP client, this is what we need, is this, and we can load these categories from there. So how can we load this time? Now comes the problem, and the problem is okay, for now let's use this. We cannot have static as HTTP client is instance and enumerable of client. let's call load categories async. It will be async of task of this. Now we can get the categories from this http client dot get async and the request URI, that is /API /categories, right? And get async, we have get from JSON async also. So it is kind of a method which does two things for us. First, it will fetch the data, then it will deserialize it to the type which we need. In this case, we need category. Right? This is not correct because this category type is defined here and that category type is defined in entity. So for now, all the properties are same, so it is going to work. But later, we will use DTOs here. So we will return DTO from the API and we will fetch DTO from this mobile app, this MAUI. So we will have those DTOs inside this shared project. Okay, but for now, let's see if it works. So we will have this await, and if we check, so it should be enumerable of category. So this type of this category is enumerable of category, and then we can return these categories from here. So now the problem comes, this is an async method and C# does not support async constructors, right? So we are loading these categories from here, but we cannot have the async method here. Instead, what we can do, we can have a helper method here. So let's call it public async task, and we will call it, let's say, initialize view model. Let's call it initialize only. Okay, or maybe let's call it initialize async. So this thing, in this thing, we will fill these categories from the categories. We will get these categories from our helper method, this, like this. So we will skip this categories loading from here, we will remove. So now let's comment these out, and we are loading categories from API now. And now we have simply injected this view model inside our main page. We simply injected it. We injected it, that means the constructor ran only, so we will not have any category, right? So we need to call this initialize method from here, from this thing. So what we can do now, we can have it instance variable, view model, and okay, we can remove this thing, we don't need this. So now we are going to use lifecycle method. So this time we will use on appearing. So whenever this screen appears, at that time we will simply initialize the categories. Okay, so it gives us both the versions of the method, sync and async, both basically. So we can use async version right now, so it will give us the data. We can simply call a async method. That's what we are going to do. So after this on appearing, we will simply say await view model dot initialize async. So now we have Joined all the pieces. Let's add couple of breakpoints. Initialize this thing and this thing, and okay, let's add it, create, set it as startup project, and let's build the API. And it gave us error. Constant, we don't need this app constant, right? We can remove this, delete. Okay, build. It should build, and it did not. The problem is, what is the problem? Problem is this. Now let's try if it worked. Again. Constants. Okay. We can need this. Rebuild. And it succeeded. So we will simply run it. Start new instance. Okay. We need without debugging. No. Set a startup for this and start a new instance of this. Start without debugging the API. So the API is running now and it's here, right? So we can check it is running, we can get data, and we got this data, right? So, and the URL 7293, right? 7293. And in our app we had added 7293, correct? Okay, so in this case, now let's run this app. Fingers crossed, it should work. And it gave us error. Okay. I'm running it. Let's say, let's wait for it to show up. And it's here. Let's see. Our breakpoints are going to hit. Okay, it came to main view models constructor. We have added dummy offers from here. Then it came to main page, initialize component, constructor. Then it came to on appearing, and now it will go to initialize method. And we should get fail to connect to localhost slash this thing. What is it? Did I make mistake? Failed to connect to localhost slash localhost port colon 7293. Wait, and where exactly is this? This program is from API. Null program. Let's pin it also. HTTPS localhost 7293. Uh, mm, what is the problem? HTTP client base address localhost C sharp. 2016 localhost works, IP address not. Best practice to configure base address. HTTP client not smart about combining base address with URL. String format. The base address just include the final slash. Okay. If you don't, the final part of the path is discarded because it's not considered to be a directory. Okay, I missed the final slash. Last slash, we need slash here. Okay, so let's rerun it in that case. It came. Continue, continue, and continue. Still, it is trying to connect to the same with final slash the URI. Slash. What is the problem? MAUI program. I have added this slash. Main view model. I have added this slash. Maybe we don't need this. I don't know. Let's try this thing this time. Continue, continue, and this time let's. Again, it's not going to work. Fail to connect to localhost. Why is it showing this incorrect address? Okay, I need to check. In order to work this time, what we can do, we can simply remove this, copy this, and add this here. So we have added complete URL here. API categories, okay. So let's continue. So for now I have removed it from MAUI program, this base address thing, and I have added the complete URL inside the main view model from where I'm getting I'm requesting the API to get the categories. It should work, and that base address I'll try to figure out why it is not working. And if you guys have some idea why it is not working, maybe there is some technical explanation. So if you guys know, you can let me know in the comments below that why it didn't work. Maybe I'm missing something. And looks like this is something different because it does not have to do anything with base address. Fail to connect to localhost, this thing. Okay, let's try this URL. Browser, and we are getting this data. Do we need to set something else? Is it related to Android? Okay, so maybe I will try to figure out what is it and we'll fix it in our next part, in next video. So this video is already very long. So in this video we have achieved a lot actually. So the next things what we are going to do. So first thing we are going to fix this error. We want our app to connect to this API. After that we will add offers API, and after that we will get this working, that when we click on this offer, for now it simply shows that alert message. We need a separate page which will display the offer details, coupon code and everything. After that we'll work on this restaurant section. So we are going to show these restaurants, and these restaurants also we are going to get those from API. So that is what we are going to do next. So like my video if you like my work, and share with your colleagues and friends, and subscribe to my channel, and I'll be back with another video. Bye.